My name's Richard Parks, and when injury ended my rugby career, it opened the door to a new chapter of my life, creating world-first expeditions in the world's most extreme environments. But what I've come to realise is that some of the best adventures can be had right here on my doorstep.
And to prove it, I'm taking on 3 challenges where I'll explore the rugged beauty of my Welsh homeland. I'll be learning how to fly a paramotor before trying to cross the country on my first aerial expedition. And I'll be cycling 140 miles off-road, riding east to west, creating a new Trans-Wales cycle route.
3, 2, 1, go.
This time, I'm on a wet and wild coastal adventure, scrambling, kayaking, and cliff climbing in Pembrokeshire.
Welcome to Extreme Wales!
This is the St David's Peninsula, with a population of around 1,800. St David's is the UK's smallest city, named after the patron saint who, as legend would have it, was born on these cliffs during an epic storm.
This corner of Pembrokeshire is the most westerly part of Wales, and it's where the Irish Sea meets the Atlantic Ocean.
Parts of this coastline were laid down as much as 600 million years ago. There's a combination of softer sedimentary rock and tougher volcanic rock. They weather differently, creating jagged points and crevices. It's these rocks that bring me here.
They've been battered and bashed by ferocious winds and strong Atlantic currents, carving the perfect terrain for a truly Welsh sport, coasteering.
It's thought that coasteering began here in Pembrokeshire in 1986. I'll be coasteering my way from near St Non's to Abereiddy and kayaking out to Ramsey Island. Today's journey will take me from Caervy Bay to Porthclais. Jet Moore is chair of the National Coasteering Charter, and he'll be joining me for the beginning of my expedition.
Every time I see it, I think I'm about to get soaking wet.
I think you're correct there. You're definitely going to get wet in the next few days.
The safety kit needed for coasteering is a wetsuit, a buoyancy aid, board shorts, and of course a helmet. And for this next bit, a harness. Craig Caervy, near St Non's Bay, is one of the most popular spots for rock climbing in Pembrokeshire. It's a 25-metre sheer cliff face. I'm set to take the most direct route, known as the American.
Okay, you happy?
Yep.
Nice.
This part of the coastline is full of climbs like this, each named by the first person that climbed them. This, the American, is graded VS, very severe, which means it's easier going down than coming up. Well, it's about to get real now, but I tell you what, I'm actually really looking forward for a swim because it's blinking boiling in this wetsuit.
Jet's not far behind me. The sea couldn't be clearer. What a place to start my adventure. So what exactly is coasteering?
So the best way I've always described it is making your way along the sea and the cliff edge in the inter-tidal zone, which is the sort of zone between the high water mark and the low water mark.
Sure.
And it was really started around this sort of peninsula here, so St Non's, Abereiddy area.
Yeah.
And then it's grown and it's now definitely UK-wide, if not worldwide, as an activity. Shall we go and do some coasteering?
Let's do it then.
It takes a long time to coasteer around these rocks. My planned 2-mile trip will take me all day.
I'm just sort of moving the quickest way possible because I'm conscious of where we've got to get to. Come on, let's get wet.
Knowing the rocks and where to enter the water requires Jet's expert local knowledge of the shoreline.
Hopefully by Friday we'll get to Abereiddy.
I'll spot you there if you need it.
Oh, no, I'm good, thanks.
Want some down?
I'm lucky I'm a little bit taller.
You certainly are.
Yeah.
Don't keep rubbing it in.
The idea of coasteering is to scramble along the rocks right at the water's edge, only jumping in when the terrain gets too tough.
Oh, yeah.
It's not just the physicality of this adventure that I'm starting to notice. There's the marine life. I've arranged to meet people in some strange places before, but this is one of the strangest. Rachel Bott is a marine biologist and coasteering guide.
So this is a great place so we can come and have a look at the marine life.
She lives in St David's, and this intertidal zone is her favourite place to work.
So, Rach, this is like your office around here.
Yeah. It's great, and what's cool about this is they've thought there's been people around this coastline for the last 6,000 years. It's a long time.
Yeah.
So it's only natural that people looked to the coastline, to the shoreline for their sustenance. So they were foraging here, which is really cool.
Before the tide rises too far, we're entering what's called Cathedral Cave for a look at some wildlife.
Just down here we got some, this is breadcrumb sponge. These are mutualistic or symbiotic with a type of plankton called zooxanthellae. And it's what gives the colour, so anything like coral, some anemone, giant clam, anything that has that kind of colour. And you can give it a bit of a squidge. This is sponge, a natural sponge, just like the stuff that you'd wash yourself.
When you squidge them, does that damage them at all or no?
Not really. They're little volcanoes on the top here that are just mainly full of water. These guys here, these are dog whelks. These have got like a drill-like proboscis, and they're feeding on the barnacles. Can you see the ones that have got holes in them?
Yeah.
And they'll climb on top of the barnacle. If you look closely, a barnacle's got like a trapdoor.
Yeah.
And these guys will use that drill to hammer into the trapdoor. They produce this, like an acid as well.
Incredible.
It takes about 3 or 4 days for one little barnacle.
Really?
So this is an inky blue jellyfish. This does have a little bit of a sting. I'm just going to put that back in the water. More like a bit of a nettle sting to it. And we get a ton of these washing in en masse through the summer. I wouldn't recommend picking them up.
It's floating somewhere particularly dangerous. I'm going to move on, I think.
Let's go.
Rachel and Jet are heading back up the cliff. Now, you shouldn't coasteer alone, but of course I have the camera crew with me. The tide is coming in fast now. The more it rises, the less shoreline there is between the sea and the cliff face. That means more swimming.
This first day has been so much fun. Pure fun.
My body's really starting to feel it. Luckily, I'm now close to Porthclais, my finishing point for today.
I literally have got this section of Pembrokeshire coast to myself. It's just wonderful. It's just a whole new world of experience, and just round the corner there are so many hidden adventures and hidden gems and hidden experiences right on our doorstep, and I cannot wait until tomorrow. But I'll sleep well tonight. I'm swapping my coasteering kit for a kayak today. I'm hoping I'll stay dry, but knowing me in a kayak, that could be pretty optimistic.
This section of my journey will mean a 3-mile paddle through turbulent waters from Porthclais here on the mainland to Ramsey Island. From Ramsey, I'm on a 3-hour paddle back to the mainland at Pwllcairog. This is what I'll have to contend with later today. A set of tidal rapids known as the Bitches. My journey out to Ramsey will mean I'll avoid them, for now. Jet and I will be paddling this together. He's a top kayaker who trains the Welsh national and Olympic kayak teams. A quick stowing of my gear, and it's straight into the water.
So we're paddling out into the Atlantic now.
Yeah, so we're paddling out into St Bride's Bay, and then the sea, with the tides, it flows. You don't really think of it like a river, but it flows exactly like a river.
Yep.
Under the water there, you got a load of rocks, and that creates some confused water. On spring tides, you could get a standing wave of
Really?
3-4 metres. It's big.
As we head out into the bay, I start to get a taste of what Jet's talking about.
In at the deep end again, eh, Rich?
Yeah. I'm finding it pretty challenging because I've got swells coming at me from one angle, and then you add the wind into the mix, and
And you know, this sort of swell and everything, like you say, going on keeps your wits about you, doesn't it?
yeah.
If we start to head towards that, the gap there in the islands.
Okay.
My heading is taking me to Ramsey Island. It's a 640-acre remote wilderness, a sanctuary for seals, seabirds, and also a site of special scientific interest. Greg Morgan and his wife are wardens on the island and the only permanent residents.
Just before we go any further, I'm just going to ask you to do one thing for me. I'm going to ask you to look for any stowaway rats. I know it sounds crazy, but there's a very good reason for it.
Okay, now I've been through customs a few times,
You know, one look in the back as well.
but a rat check is a new one.
That all looks good. Yeah, that's smashing.
Every visitor to this island must go through these checks. I've passed the rat inspection, but Greg wants to show me something to help explain why it was necessary. These rocks are the bitches.
That is a big part of the reason why I was asking you to check your boat earlier. If I take you back to the 1800s, the coastline of Ramsey littered with shipwrecks, and unfortunately one of those contained rats. So birds like puffins, Manx shearwaters are suddenly faced with something like a rat, gets into the burrows, eats the eggs and the chicks, and you can imagine the effects that has on the population.
In the 200 years that followed, rats all but destroyed the bird life on Ramsey. But in 1999, using traps and poisons, this invasive species was eradicated. Since then, the bird numbers have been on the rise. Greg and his team are monitoring one bird in particular, the Manx shearwater. Sarah Parmore spends most days on the cliffs checking the progress of their breeding.
Well, what we're doing is we've got these artificial nest boxes that we've been making. Nearly 100 of those in this whole area.
Of the 100 or so boxes, how many are actually used by the Manx at the moment?
At the moment we have 5 boxes where chicks have actually hatched. And that went up for 2. Last year we had 2, so it's gone up, so we're really pleased about that. So yeah, it's important for us to monitor them. It's an indication of how healthy they are, which is an indication of how healthy our seas are around the place, how easy the adults can get food to come back and feed the chicks.
So I've heard you've got a surprise for me here.
Well,
I'm really hoping
we've got a
it's a
box
chick.
over here with a chick in it.
Oh,
So do you want
awesome.
to help me weigh that one?
I'd love
Yeah.
to.
All right, we'll have a look in this box here.
Oh, it looks like a big ball of fluff.
If you want to take him off me, just like that. Wow. Okay. It's away the bracken. In a couple of months, he'll be fully feathered, and they just go off to Argentina all by themselves. They know how to get there. It is amazing.
It's incredible to think he'll be able to fly all the way to Argentina.
That's right.
It really is.
And then she won't come back to land
Wow.
for 2 years. They stay out at sea in Argentina.
One adult bird, first ringed in 1957, was thought to have flown 5 million miles in its lifetime. That's more than 200 laps of the planet.
So if you want to, you can put him in the scales there for
I don't
me.
want to let him go. Oh, no, he wants to go. He's not very...
He's used to this by
Is
now,
he?
yeah.
Oh.
Perfect. Well, he's put on weight, so that's good.
Has he?
Yeah, he has.
347 grams.
347 grams, yeah.
Wow.
It's great to see the conservation work going on here, but as much as I'd like to stay and help Sarah, I've got to get back to the kayak.
Good fun on the island?
Oh, it was awesome. They're looking for volunteers. I could have spent a week or 2 there.
Ace, well, we've got the bitches.
Are the bitches really as bad as they sound?
Yeah, they certainly have got their name for a reason. With kayakers, it's renowned worldwide, really, and definitely a challenging spot, so it's no small undertaking.
Sure.
It flows up to about 10 miles an hour.
Oh, wow.
So, you know, that for water,
Yeah,
that is
that's
a lot.
fast.
You've got the whole Atlantic pushing into the Irish Sea.
Yeah.
So it's a hell of a lot of water Going for a very small gap. Keeping the boat going, nice gentle pace, a few splashes in the face.
Yeah.
And I'll see you on the other side.
So wait a second, your briefing is go out there, find the biggest bit and paddle into it.
Yeah, because you enjoy the fun.
I do, mate, I do. I'm not sure why I call you a mate anymore.
Jet leads the way, and as a professional kayaker, he makes it look easy. Right, my turn to tackle this notorious shipwrecker. The water's fighting me with every pull on my paddle.
You got through most of it.
Well, the bitches certainly lived up to their name.
How did that feel?
Oh, that was insane. When you paddled off, it must have been like 3 or 4 strokes, and I went behind you. It just went from what seemed like reasonable to massive. The first sort of trough of the first wave. Oh, I was just like, this is insane.
I had expected the paddle from here to be relatively straightforward, but at sea the weather changes at a moment's notice. The wind is picking up and it's becoming really challenging. I've got to get back to the mainland, but it's still an hour's kayak and the conditions are working against me. I'm now faced with 2-meter swells. It's getting pretty dangerous.
That scared me then.
And as we push on, the weather continues to worsen.
And no matter how much power I put through my right hand, it's just going right. Oh. Yeah, I am tired a little bit. It's hard work.
After a 3-hour battle with the waves, we finally reached Pwll Caerog. I was right at the limit, if not over the other end of my my comfort zone and my skill level for pretty much all of that. Right now, I'm just a little frazzled and tired after an epic 3 hours. I'm looking forward to some food and getting my head down. Here in this wild camp, I should be able to recover and recharge for tomorrow. No sooner have I put my tent up than the rain comes in. So if you're wondering why I'm eating my dinner with a travel-sized toothpaste tube, there's quite a simple explanation for that. I've either lost, or more likely forgot to put my spork in. So, I had to be creative by chopping the dehydrated meal pack down and using a toothpaste tube. The weather turns from a shower to torrential rain with storm force winds.
It sounds pretty wild outside. What was the gentle pitter-patter of rain on my tent earlier is now keeping me awake, and yes. About 6:30 in the morning, day 3. And the weather's been absolutely unrelenting. I haven't slept much. Doesn't really seem to be letting up.
And the storm conditions have had a frustrating impact on my journey.
I'm expecting 6 up to 8 foot waves crashing into the coastline. The irony is that the sea that's carved out this coastline is actually preventing me from enjoying it. All I can do is sit it out for a few hours and wait and keep my fingers crossed.
While I wait, I'm going to get some breakfast, and I'm going to be hunting for it.
Morning, Julia.
Hi, hi.
Helping me is someone who's known as a forager.
Oh, down here we've got some silverweed growing on the edge of the beach.
Julia Horton runs courses for foragers on the coastline.
Fresh small pieces.
Yep.
You can cut them up into little squares and fry them like crisps.
Seaweed is part of a traditional Welsh breakfast. Julia's going to treat me to her version of the most important meal of the day.
Singing nettles.
Stinging nettles.
Yep.
We should all be eating these. They're full of amazing goodness, like iron and so on. You just grab it like that, okay?
Yeah.
And then you scrunch it up like that.
Yep.
And then you put it on your teeth. Okay?
On your teeth, at the back of your
Yeah,
teeth.
just put it in your teeth. No
Okay.
point in putting it on your tongue.
This could go terribly wrong
It could
here.
go terribly wrong.
Scrunch it
You get
about.
really strong iron taste.
That is incredible, because that actually tastes quite nice.
I'm amazed that so many of these plants are edible, and with such a huge variety of flavours.
Oh, it's punchy. Oh, I can see.
Do you mean punchy, really?
I knew I was going to be hungry, so Julia has bought some extra ingredients. Some mackerel caught in the sea here, and some potatoes grown just beyond the cliffs.
It's really cool, actually, because, you know, the people of Wales would have relied on much of this for daily sustenance.
Absolutely. And particularly, I mean, we have a really big heritage of using lava.
Yeah.
And it sort of begs the question why anyone ever started to look at it, because it looks so disgusting when it's on the rocks, and
Yeah.
it's not much better when it's like this.
It tastes good, though, doesn't it?
We can make these into little pate things. I think foraging is going out and picking what you see rather than going with a shopping list.
There's something wonderful as well about the ritual, the process of cooking a meal like this.
Absolutely.
As opposed to it being instantaneous. It's almost sort of a passage to earn what you've eaten.
Exactly. Yeah, that's very true. And then it always tastes so much better.
Now for a quick fry of my forage seaweed. And breakfast is served.
Lava and oats, that's really nice.
No, it's good.
I've enjoyed my foraged feast, but it's time to make a decision on the next leg of my journey.
Although it's brightening up, the swell is still too big to coasteer. So I'm going to run round to Abereiddy and hope that the sea is a little kinder around there.
I'm heading along the cliff tops for a run that will take me from here in Pwll Caerog to Abereiddy.
I'm making the most of the coastal path we have here in Wales to get to Abereiddy. The path actually runs the entire coastline of Wales. And that's where I'm heading for the final part of my adventure. It looks like Abereiddy's being kind to me. The conditions look much better, so I'm gonna get back into my kit and get cracking.
The coasteering here is said to be the best in Wales. Some consider it to be the place where coasteering began. To many, Andy Middleton is the inventor of coasteering and coined the phrase. He also started the first ever coasteering business right here on these rocks.
Andy, you're referred to as the pioneer of commercial coasteering.
Godfather.
Tell me how it started.
Well, I think, you know, good kids, if they're lucky, get to play in the backyard. And for me, the coastline of this northwestern Pembrokeshire Peninsula is where I spend my entire childhood time off. For us, this interface between the ocean and the rocks was this kind of beguiling place. You never knew what you're going to find in terms of driftwood or wreckage or whatever.
Yeah.
And so I started 1986. introduced coasteering to the world, and we've taken out about 100,000 people.
Incredible.
Since then. So I'm going to head out this way and see what we can find. I'm quite hopeful that as we progress, as we get away from these rocks and find a couple of spots that are a bit more sparky.
It's amazing how coasteering has grown. Now people all around the world have whales to thank for this sport.
When you're ready, we'll slip over to this other side where the next wave comes in.
Andy takes me to a bowl carved out of the rock, full of swirling water known to coasteerers as a toilet.
You can hold them like this and just tuck your head in when the waves come. It's brilliant, brilliant fun. 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Holding on means we stay put, which is more than can be said for the crew.
How's that?
That's awesome. Hidden just around the headland is a fissure in the rock that's loved by local coasteerers. This huge flooded cave cuts 60 metres into the cliff wall.
In the deep part, you get a real sense of the beauty and the power at the same time. Land, but at the same time. So it's fun to think a bit of climbing next. Yeah, too. Nice work.
While we're playing around, the swell outside has picked up again, and the waves get more powerful.
Okay, off now. Drop off, back out of deep water.
We have to retreat back to the mouth of the cave.
Excellent work. This intersection where the cliffs meet the ocean, I think is the most powerful playground on the planet.
Do you think so?
Because it's like, you know, the power that you get when a wave smack up.
Yeah.
It's like not far off an avalanche.
Andy knows these rocks inside out, and leading the way, he takes me to a 5-metre cliff face, one of his favourite jumps.
3, 2, 1, go. Woo! Oh, wow. Here. How was that, buddy?
That was awesome.
Give me 5. Excellent.
Awesome.
What a way to spend a day.
What a great afternoon.
But the day isn't quite over yet. This is the Blue Lagoon. It's an old slate quarry that's been consumed by the sea, and at its head, a 13-metre jump from a derelict quarry building. Immersing myself in this part of the Welsh coastline has been an awesome adventure, and this is the perfect way to end my journey. What a journey. Coasteering is an incredible sport. Born here in Wales and enjoyed globally by lovers of adventure.
That took considerably longer to get down than I thought.
And the best thing is, you can do it right here on your doorstep.